Welcome back. If you don't know, there's been a very big debate going on right now talking about the downfall of Italian football. And honestly, I have to agree. Comparing like this modern day era to like the past era of like Milan and Inter, the early 2000s, etc., when Italian football, even before that, Italian football was probably at its peak, there's been a very big difference between those two eras. Obviously, we saw some iconic players play for these Italian teams like Zidane for Juventus, Kaká for Milan, etc., etc., to obviously more many examples. And looking like all those iconic teams as well, like the Mourinho team, the Milan teams, Maldini, Nesta, all those players. I mean, also I think we saw in Inter, Milan, even Juventus I think won a trophy, a Champions trophy. I'm not sure about that, but obviously it was probably the peak of Italy as a football as a whole. And comparing this era of early 2000s and before that to now comparing the modern day era, has been a very big difference. Because right now I think this is the second straight year that we only see one Italian team going in the USL 116. And honestly, I mean, this is the best example possible to kind of just show how bad it is in Italy right now. I don't think it's really that bad. I think the difference between now and before is massive. And looking also like Italy as a whole, as a team, as a country as well. I mean, this is a team that I don't know how many World Cups they've won off the top of my head, maybe 3. But they won a lot of World Cups. They won Euros, obviously, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. In fact, maybe it was more of an exception to the rule. But this Italian team, who obviously has not gone to last 2 World Cups in a row, which for a team like Italy, who has the quality in the team, who has the history as well, has been a very big thing to happen, right? I mean, don't you see a big team like Italy not go to World Cup, but especially 2 times in a row? I'm not talking about this as they're almost, I don't say close, but they might miss out on third one in a row. How's the playoffs pathway for them to go into that? I feel like it's a bit terrible for them. I don't know. I feel like they only have Wales or something like that to go through. I don't know. I might be wrong with that. But obviously, I think that we're probably going to see Italy go to the World Cup this year. But again, for Italy just be in the position to be able to miss out on the 3rd World Cup in a row just shows how much Italian football as a country, as a league, has fallen down since that past era I was talking about. Even Juventus as well, like. Because in like 2010s, we thought Juventus should be the main team in Italy. Obviously, they went to some Champions League finals. They won loads of Serie A trophies as well. Even right now, the best team in Serie A is not really comparable to how good that Juventus team was. I do know that Inter went to the final of last year's Champions League, and now just seeing him getting loose to what the teams in the knockout stage in Champions League. So I don't really know what to think about that. Obviously, I do know that maybe some seasons, some years where these Italian teams will be better, but in general, I feel like it's easy to see how big of a downfall Italy has had in terms of football. Looking at the players as well, you can kind of see how bad the quality has dropped. Like even Juventus, the best players we saw maybe the past 10 years, I'll say. Obviously, Ronaldo was there, Buffon, Del Piero, Bonucci, Chiellini. Not the best players are Bremer and Illich. In fact, they might be the best couple of players, best players they have in the league. Looking at Milan, they have Kaká, Maldini, Van Basten, like so many good players. Now you talk about Rafael Leão, a guy who's good. I mean, it's also pretty good, but not that good. To be even comparable to Kaká was, to what Shevchenko and Maldini and Inzaghi were. Modric, second best player, and he's talking about a very old Luka Modric, not a Ballon d'Or Luka Modric. So the quality has dropped in Milan as well. Even at Inter, then Ronaldo R9, and to Zanetti, not to talk about Bastoni, and Barella, San Martinez. The downfall in quality. I think it kind of make an argument that football as a whole has kind of decreased their individual quality. I feel like in Italian football, in Italian teams, that downfall is even more apparent. I do know that maybe nostalgia can kick in, and a lot of opinions on like past years of football, and I mean like, not only football, like just sports in general, in life in general. Nostalgia can kick in a lot more and kind of influence a lot of opinions and kind of oversaturate some points, some opinions in people's minds. But I do know that the evidence is too strong to not say that this has been a huge downfall, and that it has been a very strong case, and that's very obvious that the league has some serious problems. The main reason is the biggest one that we see in football nowadays is the financial one. I mean, right now this season, 12 or 20 teams have reported loss financially this season, and it's a lot for a top 5 league team in the world. I don't know the numbers compared to other leagues in the world, but I don't think looking at maybe La Liga, maybe because of the salary cap rule, like maybe Bundesliga and Liga, I don't know other ones as well, because I don't know, like I don't think there's gonna be a lot of leagues who are in this bad financially in terms of positions, in terms of teams being able to not make money. I mean, obviously, I don't know which teams specifically are there. I'm just like Juventus and Inter, a lot of teams like those still make some money, but I don't think they are making the money they want to make as well. So I feel like obviously financially this kind of plays a big role in the league taking a huge step down in quality. Because most teams now can compete against the better teams in terms of wage. They're trying to go and sign a big player, for example, a big name signing. I mean, last time that we saw Italian team bring in a big name signing. I think I don't want to remember like Modric, Lukaku, De Bruyne, and those are all kind of other players, even Ronaldo as well. Other players were kind of showing more towards the end of the peak or towards the end of their careers, are not going to Italy to play some more football. And I feel like when you look at their wages, not being able to pay some players, I feel like the best example is to talk about Yildiz at Juventus. I think Juventus was like open to offering kind of Yildiz maybe like half or 2/3 of the salary that Arsenal was trying to offer kind of Yildiz. And the fact that Juventus, obviously I don't think that they wanted to offer that contract. I feel like that's financially for them, it only made sense to offer that X amount of money. And for Arsenal to be able to offer almost double or a bit more than what Juventus are able to offer in terms of salary financially, I think it speaks a lot about how the lack of money nowadays can damage a team and a league. And again, I feel like this is the biggest reason as why we see so many football teams as well fall down in quality, fall down in reputation. It's because they don't have the money to be able to sustain themselves at a high level. And these young teams, obviously, they can still build some good teams. I mean, last year, like Inter with Di Marco and things like those are all players who are kind of built more inside. I mean, I don't remember the last time Serie A team bought a great player for a large amount of money and they actually succeeded. I mean, it was the last time we kind of saw that, you know. And I don't know if I have this. No, I don't. But I mean, Juventus hasn't bought a player for a lot of money in some time. Even Inter hasn't, Milan hasn't. So I feel like looking at like Bundesliga with Bayern, or Premier League as well, Liga as well, PSG. I mean, there's at least one team in every single league was able to spend a lot of money in terms of windows. And Serie A, the only one top five leagues don't have that money to go out there and be able to bring in a high quality player for the 70, 80, 90 million plus money euros, because they don't really have that in their bank account to try and spend that. So they kind of are more resorted to bringing in some lower ranked players, some lower quality players, try and build them up, try and develop them, or to kind of make some other way of build the squad. We'll talk about that in a bit. But this whole lack of money has kind of made these teams not be able to compete as frequently, as consistently as other teams like Barcelona and other big teams or other leagues. Obviously, there are some numbers that can prove that the spending power in Italy has vanished completely. Looking at the last 5 years in terms of net spend, Juventus are 15th in the whole world, Milan are 16th, Roma are 30th, Napoli are 50th, and Inter is in 156th place. 156 is insane how low Inter is in terms of net spend. I mean, there's teams from Portugal, Turkey, Scotland, all above them. And the fact that the Inter, as a team, obviously won Champions League final last season, not been able to buy players for some amount of money, try to even improve their team by spending money. I mean, they're not able to do that. And the fact that it's the best team in Italy in terms of performing in Europe and etc. is not able to do that. Also, I mean, if Inter is not able to do that, how can Milan or Napoli or Juventus able to do that? I mean, Roma obviously went to a huge spending spree in the summer, like all sporting a lot of new players. And more like very small fees or loans or free agents. It kind of gives the illusion of them spending a lot of money, when in fact they don't spend that much money. So you see, I mean, I think spending power has obviously been vanished. I don't think Italian teams right now have a really big say on how players will want to move to each teams. Obviously, like especially now in the world where the money has become more and more important to players and etc. Even if you have a lot of money is still very important. They don't have the money to compete with other players, other teams, I'm sorry. They don't have the ability to be able to bring in great players, to be able to bring in a very, very good squad, and have to resort to other methods of squad building that you're able to do that. And that leads to the point I want to make about these talent teams, a lot of talent teams being really bad at roster building. They don't really know how to make a squad, they don't really know how to build a squad to compete and win games at the high level, European level, etc. I mean, looking at when to spend a lot of money a lot of times badly. Juventus with Vlahovic, Arthur Melo, those are very big flops. Vlahovic not really a big flop, but obviously it didn't really pan out the way they thought it would. Even like Milan, Jimenez, etc. There's be a lot of cases where these teams spend a lot of money, and in fact those players did not work out as they wanted to. So I really do feel like the Italian teams have become really bad at building a squad that's able to compete for the future, for the present, and also a reason as to why we see the Italian teams can take a downfall. Because even like Barcelona, for example, Barcelona is a team that have gone through their difficulties financially. They're still able to use the academy. Obviously, to be fair, the compare their academy to a Serie A academy is still a bit unfair because La Masia is probably the best academy in the world. But they're still able to bring in some new players, be able to develop players into tendencies like Rafinha, for example, Lamine Yamal, etc. Able to give game time to younger players, and be able to utilize them in the future. They can build a great team. Because you like it's been maybe like it's still like 4 years that we see Barcelona be in this position where they don't spend a lot of money, and they've been like that for a big amount of time, and they're still in that now where they don't really have a lot of money, and they're still able to bring in players who have been able to help them a lot by very low fees, like Di Martinez, for example, was amazing last year. I don't know how much was brought in, but I don't think it was that much. Garcia was brought in for 20 million, obviously a big signing. Even Ronnie Barchi, a guy who has amazing potential, about like 5 million or something like that. They know what to market, they know how to build a squad. I think that's what these Italian teams lack compared to like Barcelona and other teams. As I said, I do know that there hasn't been like a lot of big Italian wonderkids coming out of their country in a while. Also, I do think it's the fact that these top Italian teams have not given the pathway for younger players to come into the team and make the first team be able to kind of help them develop a lot. I mean, looking at the top teams in Europe and top 5 leagues as well, you can look at maybe Juventus is the one you see that they're doing the best in terms of being able to incorporate younger players in the squad. I mean, Milan are also doing quite well, but not that great. Then Inter and Napoli are just really bad at that. And the fact that, obviously, as you can see, these Italian teams don't have the money to compete to bring in other players. They don't really have the money to be able to build a roster or able to build a great squad. The two signings, why are they making their squad older so they can have a lesser window to be able to win games? Because the Inter team, as they are right now, maybe like they have 1 or 2 more years when they can actually compete before they have to make new signings and try to kind of rebuild the squad and also bring in some more fresh blood into the team. As you can see, if they don't have the money to do that, and they don't want to incorporate younger players into the team, there will be any single way for them to do that. And I think maybe the Italian teams should be more open to incorporating younger players, build more the academy, try to bet more on those younger players. Well, obviously, I mean, as well, every single team in the world bets young players. But PSG, I mean, look at the best teams like PSG has bet on young players, Barcelona has bet on young players, Real Madrid has bet on young players, Chelsea as well. I don't think that that's kind of separates. Even Arsenal has had Luis Kelly, Noah Downman in their academy, Liverpool as well, Bruno Guma. I mean, there's been so many good teams in the world. I mean, also Bayern as well, Luke Carlo, and like Musiala, etc. All these teams in Europe have still found a way to incorporate their younger players and be able to give them a very good squad role. I feel like right now in Italy, there's not really a single team who does that. Maybe Juventus does, but I think it's more with foreign young players or trying to bring in more younger players as well. It's also a good method of trying to build a squad. Like Inter, I know that Esposito in their striker role is a missing one kid, but even more. Trying and make him be maybe the right backup to Raul Martinez and things like that. And try to use the academy, or try to also look at Italy, try to look at the best qualities you have, because this is a big footballing nation. There's no way you don't have maybe 4 to 5 players in the academies of other teams or young team. They don't really find a potential in, or they don't think it's worth them to go into your team, be able to kind of mince the first team, they can develop into a better player. So the fact that they're not willing to develop young players, not willing to pass into the academies, has also helped them fell even down the quality of the team. Also, I feel like I've noted as well that Serie A right now has become a very measure-oriented league, because I feel like I saw an article from, I don't know if it was Sky Sports, I think it was Sky Sports, like a week ago I think, they talked about now Serie A being a very different type of football than it is in Europe and other countries, where the Serie A is a very slow game of football, very slow, pragmatic, I think that's the word, right word, pragmatic, kind of control more in terms of passing, not trying to be very risky. Like Bundesliga, for example, is a very, very fast league. Even like Premier League right now, we're seeing more and more teams play direct. And when these teams go into Europe and play against teams who want to play more direct, want to play faster, those teams like Italian teams cannot compete, cannot keep up with other teams. We see like Napoli was last year champions Serie A, being like what, maybe 1 win or 2 wins in Champions League. I do not count that as a really bad European record, but still, I don't think that's a bit of an excuse for Napoli to do that bad when they just won the league trophy. Even like Juventus did kind of well, not really well. They're kind of bad as Champions League. Inter lost upon the Glimt because these teams in the league are playing a different way than what in Europe is playing. I thought they're a bit stuck into the 90s and the 2000s where they still played that football where it was successful in that era. But now in the era where teams have changed, now football is played way quicker, play more direct, and these teams are not kept up with that. And don't know, I don't know if it's the view. Also because like the managers who are on these big teams, I mean for me it's like they're all rotating. Antonio Conte has always been there, Allegri as well. Like you see so many managers like Spalletti as well. You see so many managers kind of being throughout their like big teams. Like Sarri has been with Napoli and Juventus. Conte has been like Juventus, Inter. I mean a lot of managers in Serie A that have spent so much time at least 2 of the top 6, top 5 Italian teams in the country. I think that's because, I'll say this, that's because, I mean, these managers are kind of the ones who can give you the best results against Serie A, and the league is not really willing to try and develop their football or change their way of playing because the managers are all the same. They don't really change managers. They're always trying to bring in managers who only have Italian experience. I mean, I don't know off my head any manager was coming into a big team like Juventus or Milan or something like that to have come in and like they never had the best Italian experience, or at least being foreign as well. I think Milan can experience a bit more of that with like Jose Song and matches like that. Obviously, they really work out. Like even Juventus, like you have Pirlo, you have Sarri, you have Allegri. I mean, almost all their coaches there have kind of been those like more Italian managers who have had more experience of managing Italian football, and until at the point of where they want to develop their football, want to change the way of playing, they will be able to keep up with those big European teams. Also looking like maybe Inter, Napoli, Milan, 3 examples I have. Like Inter was obviously Champions League finalist last year. Inzaghi left and now they've gone to losing in the knockouts. I mean, the squad is practically the same, right? I mean, no big player left the club, and for whatever reason, they went from being a finalist in Champions League to not being knocked out very early by Bodo Glimt. I mean, no despite Bodo Glimt, no offense to them. They're still a very good team right now, but I don't think this Inter team should go from what they were last year to now being this year, because they've replaced Inzaghi with Siro. Again, another guy who also had previous experience at football managing with, I think it was El Verona or Chievo Verona, something like that. Even Napoli went from Serie A winners to like 10th in the table 3 years ago because Spalletti left. I think Osimhen also left, I don't know. But also, when the coach left, when Spalletti left to go join Italy, they went from 1st to 10th. Again, no single instance in that season, in the transfer window, happened a thing as big to make a team go from 1st to 10th in a single season. Even Milan as well, they went from 8th place last year, not 2nd place this season, purely because Allegri now joined the team and because he's been one of the managers who have been in Italy for a very long time. He has experience at managing that at top level in Italy. He knows what it takes to win games there, and that's because they're doing so well. And when they go to Europe, obviously not in Europe right now, but when they go to Europe next year, we see Allegri in their helm. I don't know how good it will be because I don't know if they're able to keep up with those big European teams in terms of being able to play that fast-paced football as well. So there's been a lot of things happening in Italy when it goes to money problems, when it goes to managerial problems, when it goes to play style problems, when it goes to squad building problems. I think Italy as a whole needs to be very much fixed. I don't say like now Italy is a bad league. I think they're still a bad country in terms of football. They're not. They're still a very good country. They're still a very good league when it comes to teams in terms of quality, in terms of being able to, as a league, still very good. I still think they're still a bit outdated. They have to keep up with what's happening in the rest of the world, being able to go and make more academies, make more younger players, try and change their play style. All those things, right? That felt like were good maybe 20 years ago, but right now just don't really make a lot of sense to do them right now. So I feel like For Italy wants to get back to their prime peak when they were early 2000s and before then. They needed to make some big chances, and that comes with, again, being able to trust more the academy, being able to change that player style, and trying to trust more managers around the world, not just within Italy.